thing, that means you can have two separate inventories, basically. One for seeing the crafting recipes or seeing the creative menu, and one for, like going through all the stuff, and one for actually seeing what's actually in your personal inventory, which is really, really quite a useful thing. It sounds like it wouldn't be useful, but because Minecraft Bedrock does have its fair share of, inventory glitches, etc., sometimes you want to just see, everything in here, and sometimes you want to see everything here, which is kind of nice that you can actually separate the two, meaning in some situations you have a competitive edge while using the controller. It sounds like a small thing, but again, it's something you can only really do using a controller. At least that's my take on things, I would say. Next up, we've obviously got the fact that it's the only platform where you actually have granular creative controls. So that seems like a weird set of phrases, but what it is on every other platform you can crouch to go down, you can jump to fly up while you're flying, just like this. But again, when you're using a controller, for some reason, most of this is because it was grandfathered in from the legacy console editions. There is something called the fly slow up and the fly slow down option. So we'll set this up, we'll set this one to down, for instance, and now what we can actually do is we can fly up very slowly. So again, this seems pointless, like why would you need to fly up or fly down very, very slowly? But it's actually there, again, for if you're working on very small things, say half slabs at this rate. If you try to crouch down, you might go full block up, full block down, and although most of us can probably deal with that, sometimes you do want to slowly go up and use that to work on much more fine details, so you can work on something as specific as a torch at this distance without risk of breaking something else. Again, for most people it's not too useful, but because it isn't exclusive, it's something worth knowing about, whereas other platforms you just have to kind of hold space for a few less seconds, or hold jump for less of the time. On this platform you have that dedicated built in. So yeah, that's the big advantages, the secret options that are only available on a controller. You might assume that's kind of small, but yeah, the PC's one is arguably smaller, but also more important at the same time. So let's switch over to that now. So this is the Windows 10 edition of the game, or Windows 10 WWP, or just Minecraft Windows 10, or Minecraft as Minecraft Let's Play.
Hello, dude.
Name, but it's the only technical PC version of the game available right now. You have to use that one OS, but it is still played by.
I hope you're not a bot. I hope you're a real person, because I'm kind of bored and I need someone to talk to.
Designed to be run by a keyboard. However, again, because it's a universal Windows platform game, you'll get the same responses and everything else. It's just this is the only platform where it's assumed that you're using a mouse and keyboard. So explain the benefits of mouse and keyboard. I'm sure that preaching to the choir, like if you're into gaming, you probably know that there's a lot of big benefits to playing on a mouse and keyboard.
Type in the chat if you are human.
A lot of people like WASD, even though again, I would argue that an analog input is more ideal for something like this. But definitely the mouse over the right stick or the mouse over a touchscreen, it's hard to argue that there's anything worse about this, and it's easy to talk about. However, the big advantages to Windows 10 are not just the fact that you get a mouse, and that's kind of nice, because again, you can have a mouse on an Xbox, you can have a mouse on a phone. So what's the other big advantages? Well, the first one, and this one's kind of weird that there's just no option to even find this in anything else, is because the keyboard has a bunch of keys, most of which aren't used by Minecraft. You have a bunch of different options that just aren't available on a platform, such as if you use the left and right square bracket. Don't ask me why they think left and right square bracket, but left and right square bracket will immediately take you across these different things. Admittedly, you can just move your cursor and click it that way on every platform, but again, and that's how most people on PC. But if you want to scroll across these really, really quickly, for instance, you can hold that, rapidly tap the button, and you'll go across them really quickly. So there you go, that's a fun and maybe useful thing for you. Also, it's well noted, scroll across the hotbar.
All these guys are
Or
here.
you can use the number keys to immediately switch between them. So if you want to go from 1 to 5, every other platform, you can touch directly on a touchscreen, but that's still, again, it takes some time. On PC, you can, while still moving, you can just tap, immediately go from 1 to 3 to 7 to 1, etc. 1 to 9 are also inventory buttons, and again, this comes from Job Edition, kind of grandfathered in for a different version of the game, but it does still mean that if you want to switch inventory methods, so again, let's just say I have 9 separate things, but I want to switch rapidly between a block of diamonds and between scaffolding, and for some reason they're in different slots because there has to be stuff in between. Well, it's really handy to switch immediately between the block of diamond and the scaffolding, which is only doable on Pocket Edition, but slower, and not doable all on console, at least right now, without a keyboard attached. So yeah, every single version of Minecraft, every single input method does have its whole advantages, and again, to go through the rest of them, it's worth mentioning that having a keyboard directly plugged in means that you can obviously type a lot faster. Minecraft makes a lot of stuff like this, and doing commands on a phone is kind of tricky. Doing commands on a controller without a keyboard plugged in is literally insanity. You basically can't do it without slowly going insane. However, on a keyboard and mouse, all you need to do is press T, open the stuff, press the thing, and then go out. You see my high quality sentence I just typed, but yeah, you can do stuff on the go, which is kind of nice. So this isn't technically input method related, but it is the main platform you're playing in related. So there are things such as on consoles, you can't pick servers, and there are things such as, if you're on a Windows 10 device, it tries to base it on your specs, you can easily choose those if you want to. Basically, Minecraft's render distance varies hugely from platform. For instance, my phone gives me a maximum of 22 chunks, my Xbox gives me a maximum of 22, a Switch gives you something like 14 to 16, I've heard some iPhone XSs will give you like 30 chunks. They try to work out what render distance max you can use on any platform, but if you're on a Windows 10 device, this is where you get the highest render distance. There's no real even need to have 72, but if your PC can run it, why not have 72 chunks render distance? This is actually where the fact that this is a UWP game comes in quite handy, because you might think that like, oh, Minecraft caters to the lower end denominator, but you know, to some extent it's true. Like, the fact that this game is playable on a touchscreen competently, playable on a controller competently, and a keyboard and mouse at the same time is something very few games manage. The fact that it's technically the same code running on all three platforms is even more impressive, but the fact that it can scale up based on your platform means that this is the best running version